Hi, Zach Reiser here, and welcome back to another Bass Effects review video. Today I'm getting into one more pedal from Jam Pedals, the Big Chill, their flagship tremolo. The Big Chill offers just the right amount of versatility with its controls, but all the controls are very well thought out in terms of how they would apply to actual kind of like on-stage musical application. So let's run through all the controls real quick. So on the top right of the pedal is the volume control, a very useful thing for a tremolo pedal because if you don't boost the signal a little bit, I find that the perceived volume seems to go down. Next to that is your general depth control, can go all the way from pretty much 100% dry to 100% wet. The next one over that, the S1, is your speed 1. Next to that is speed 2. Those are selectable with this foot switch. Very cool features. You have 2 speeds on your tremolo, hands-free. And now in the middle, this foot switch is very cool. It is their chop foot switch, and essentially it completely cuts out your dry signal. So you get an incredibly harsh, kind of sharp-edged, zero dry signal tremolo. We'll show that off here in a minute. And then next to that, we have a waveform selector, so we can go square wave, sine wave, or triangle, and I'll demonstrate that here in a moment as well. And then one other thing, further on the sides of the pedal, you might not be able to see this, we have an expression input for speed 2, and an expression input on the other side for the depth. Jumping right in, here's my bass's dry tone Dingwall ABZ 6-string on the neck pickup. So starting things off, let's show the range of the speed. Now the speed 1 and speed 2, as far as my ears can tell, are identical in terms of their range. So I'm just going to focus on speed 1 here for a second. For most of this video, I'm going to keep the depth knob pretty much cranked, and that's because in my opinion on bass, when you're going to use a tremolo, you really want it to sound like a tremolo. For guitar and keyboards, etc., sometimes those subtle tremolos are really nice, but I don't find them very useful on bass. But just to be complete, I'm going to show the range of the depth knob. Moving on to the waveform selector. Now, in my opinion, the triangle and sine wave are very similar, but it does change the overall character of kind of where the pulse of the waveform falls. And then, of course, square wave is going to be a bit choppier. Now that you've heard the overall character of the tremolo, I want to move on to kind of some of the performance features of the Big Chill, starting with the speed foot switch. Very cool setting. So now I have the S1 and S2 to essentially be eighth notes and 16th notes, or quarter notes and eighth notes, so that I can switch back and forth kind of in time between these two different subdivisions. So now I have an expression pedal plugged into that speed 2 input. Now the S1 remains totally static, so you always have your set tremolo speed. But if you switch to S2, now you have a variable tremolo speed, which is very cool. So it's time to finally get to the chop foot switch, which is a very cool and unique feature that the Big Chill brings to a tremolo. So I'll show you the normal setting and then I'll switch in the chop mode. So now that we got a good idea of kind of the overall feature set and the sound of the Big Chill, I want to combine it with some other pedals, as you all know I like to do. So let's start simple. I'm going to use the Way Huge Smalls Pork and Pickle on the pork loin side. So this is just kind of a light overdrive. It sounds like this. And let's run that into kind of a more subtle tremolo setting. Same setting, except now I'm running it into a little bit of hall reverb on my Strymon Volante for kind of some very light soloing tones. So turning off that overdrive, we're going to switch into one of my favorite pedal combos, which is tremolo and delay, especially if they are synced. So I have what I am considering an eighth note pulse on the Big Chill, and I've tapped in the quarter note pulse for my delay on the Strymon Volante. And I'm running the Big Chill into the Volante. And then in the middle of this clip, I will switch to the chop mode to really accent this idea of eighth note into quarter note delay. Turning the delay off, I've switched over to an octaver in the more traditional octaver setting. So this is my bridge pickup into my Boss OC2. And let's chop that up. Getting more into some kind of synth-based territory, I've turned off the dry signal on my Boss OC2, and I'm running that now into my 3-leaf audio Doom 2 fuzz pedal. They sound like this together. And let's run that into a traditional tremolo on the Big Chill. So now I've plugged an expression pedal back in to control the speed of speed 2, and I'm going to a sine wave chopped tremolo with that Boss OC2 Doom 2 fuzz pedal combo going in to the Big Chill. So I'm going to go big and spacious to finish things off here. I'm starting with a crystals effect from my Eventide H9 running in to an MXR phase 95 just to give it a little bit of movement, and that sounds like this by itself. And I'm going to run that into the Big Chill, controlling the speed of speed 2 with my foot again. And then both of those are going to be running into a Strymon Volante just to give it a little bit of wetness when I go into chop mode. So that is my demo of Jam Pedal's flagship tremolo, the Big Chill. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. It really does help me out, and I'll be back very shortly with more videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.